Hey friend, I'm Brandon Gustafson with Assisted Living Investing. I help beginners like you launch their assisted living business in the next 12 months. Super excited to have you here on the channel today. We're talking about unlicensed care home secrets. This is something I have seen a lot of people commenting and questioning about here on the channel, in the community, on Facebook, over on YouTube in comments. And so I wanted to get this out to you because I think it's going to be helpful. There's a lot of people that have questions about this and they want to know what this looks like, how it works, and I think we're going to have a really fun conversation. For those of you who are new here, welcome. I love it when there are new people here on the channel and that are watching with. Go ahead and type in newbie down below. It lets me see who's new here and who needs some help, and we'll make sure that you have some access to some free resources, which you can actually do if you go to assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. You can get access to our free business plan checklist. Go grab that, go get access to it, and that will help you along your journey. What you need to do, one of the most important things you need to do, is build a solid business plan, and the business plan checklist is intended to be there to help you and guide you as you are trying to get things started from that standpoint. So make sure you go and grab that tool, that free tool, and it will help you and give you some guidance as you are trying to get started there. So with that, I missed one thing on, on my Facebook group post here. Let's get that on here, and then we will get going. I want to apologize also for those who were expecting something last week. I was on family vacation, first one in a really long time that was like that long, and had a really good time up on the Oregon coast. So if you have been there, type in Oregon down below. Would love to see who's been there. We had a really fun time staying in Lincoln City, which was great. A lot of fun. Okay. Now, with that, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to share my screen and we will start talking about this. So, unlicensed care home secrets. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brandon Gustafson. I have owned and operated assisted living facilities since 2020. So, I've been doing this for a while. I have a master's in healthcare administration. I've secured over $1.5 million in SBA funding, and I operate out of state. I've operated in Colorado and in Idaho. I live in Utah, so just a little bit different from from other people. I want to show you that you can do this remotely and you can be successful with that. So that's me in a nutshell. My facilities have been 16 beds, so a little bit bigger than what I would call an unlicensed care home. We're going to talk about that here as we get into this a little bit more. So if you're interested in learning more about unlicensed care homes, just type in unlicensed down below. This should answer a lot of your questions, but type that in because I think it helps people. It helps the algorithm, so people kind of get a feel for how to find this information that's going to be helpful. But if you have other questions about it, we're going to have time here at the end of the video to do that. And if you didn't make it live for whatever reason, it's totally fine. Make sure you are putting in your questions as well, so I can get to them and potentially make a separate video specific to your situation and help you out as you're trying to move things along. So what kind of home do you need for an unlicensed care home? Let's start there. Number one, it needs to be big. You need a big home if you're going to be doing an unlicensed care home. The more bedrooms you have equals more residents, and that's going to equal more income. Really, at its core, assisted living and running a business is a numbers game. As much as we want to help people who are in need, and we see some people that are charging $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 for assisted living services, and we look at that and we say, "Oh man, that's not fair. Why would somebody be doing that?" The reality is, some people do that, and they're able to turn a big profit on it. Assisted living and even care home rates are increasing. That's just the reality of the world that we live in. And if you want to turn a profit and you don't want to become a charity, and you don't want to lose thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per month, you need to have more bedrooms in your home. That's just the reality of working in this business. So as much as as you want to just charge somebody $1,500 to stay in your home, or 3,000, or some low number, if you want this to be profitable and you want to continue serving more people, then you have to charge relatively high rates. You cannot become a charity, and the more bedrooms you have, the better off you're going to be. The other thing that I want to make sure that I point out is, I would say no or very few stairs. And this is coming from me as a person that has, I owned a home in Colorado that was 4 stories tall, a residential home. And so it was a ton of stairs. It was built in the 1890s, really cool property, just a beautiful home, beautiful area in Colorado Springs. But it did limit our ability and what type of resident we could bring into our facility. So in that type of an environment, if we wanted to bring a resident in and we wanted to meet their care needs, they had to be able to handle the stairs. And that really limited us in who we could bring into our facility. So that's something I want you to be aware of, is you can do this with stairs. It's totally possible to do this with stairs, but it's going to make your life a whole lot easier if you don't have them. So think ranch or rambler style homes. That have very few or no stairs is probably going to be preferred. If there are stairs on the exterior, you may need to do some kind of a ramp or something like that. If you have stairs on the interior, you may need to look at getting some kind of a chair lift or something like that. Or you can, when you are bringing residents in, just verify that they can handle stairs, is another way around that. But that's the type of home that you want to be doing this in. Big, lots of bedrooms, so you can get more income and few stairs. That's what you should be looking for. I've talked to a lot of you who are like, oh man, I've got this perfect townhome. I think it's great for assisted living. I would say maybe not the best option. You have a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom home. It's possible, but you want to make sure you run the numbers. You want to make sure that it's going to work and that you're going to be able to bring in the income that you need so that you can generate enough income to make this profitable for you, is what you want to be doing. Okay. So be careful. Don't just jump into this because you think this is going to be perfect. Make sure you have a good home that's going to work well for assisted living, for care homes, to make this work. Now, let's talk about bedroom requirements. So in a lot of states, you want to verify all of this information in your specific area. Checking with the fire department is probably going to be the best places to do this. Some states on the local municipal website is going to have information on this as well. Building code is kind of what you're looking for here. But and some states are going to look at this as a total square footage of the home, and they won't take into account the bedroom count, which is kind of weird, but it's what they do. But typically what you're going to be looking for is you need bedrooms. You need kind of big bedrooms. So if you want a single room, private suite type of a room for one individual, you're probably going to be needing to look at something that is 100 square feet. So it's a 10 by 10 room. That's what that's going to look like. Now, if you want to do this as a shared room, and I know some people don't like the idea of doing shared rooms, and there are good ways to go about having shared rooms. We have shared rooms in my facilities, and there are ways to make this really profitable for you as a business owner, but still make it really comfortable and a really good experience for your residents while doing a shared room. There are requirements around that. Often what I see is it's 160 square feet for a room in that sense. It is 80 square foot per resident. I have a typo here on the slide. So it's 80 square feet per resident is what you'd be looking at. So 160 square feet total in that room for a shared room. So think that single room is a 10 by 10. That shared room is like a 16 by 10 is what you want to be looking at, just to make math really easy from that standpoint. So you can very easily just go and measure rooms and see, are they going to be big enough for that space? And then you want to, again, check with your local authorities and make sure that you understand what that looks like for you And because that could lead into, do I have to make any renovations? Do I have to knock out a wall? Can I count closet space inside of that 100 square feet or not? What are the room requirements? Do I need to have a room? Do I need to provide a bed? Do I need to provide something like uh, a chair or a dresser or something like that? Are there other requirements? And you can find these things out on your state's website. Typically, that's you're going to be able to find a lot of that information for free online for your specific area. Okay. But you want to understand what those room requirements are. And then that's going to tell you, okay, so I've got this 5 bedroom home and I think this is going to work for assisted living. Oh, but man, this room is just 8 by 10. Like maybe can I do assisted living there? That might be too small. Can I make this work? This is not something that is specific to a licensed facility. So this is why we're talking about this when it comes to unlicensed care homes, because these are fire requirements. This is for you to get a certificate of occupancy, which you're going to need even with an unlicensed home, so you don't get booted out when you go through this process. You need to verify that zoning is going to work and that you have approval from the fire department, that you can have a certain amount of people that you want in your unlicensed care home inside of the home living there. Because if you don't and somebody calls and reports you, they could shut you down. You're still going to have to jump through some hoops. Even as an unlicensed facility, you still need to make sure you're doing this process correctly so you can be successful. Excuse me, I need to take a drink. All right, let's talk about zoning. Zoning is still going to be required. I teach a five phase process to help you get started. One is business plan, business foundation. 2 is zoning. 3 is funding. 4 is the rules and regulations, and 5 is launching and scaling your business. In an unlicensed care home, you don't have to worry so much about 4, though there's things there in my phase 4 that you still want to be hitting on. You still want to be doing a lot of the things that would keep you in compliance if somebody were to come and say, hey, you have to get a facility, we don't do unlicensed anymore. You want to have things in place like policies and procedures so you can run an effective business. You still want to do those things even if they're not required for you as an unlicensed facility. It just means you don't have to go through the licensing process. You don't have to pay those fees. So that can help you out quite a bit, but you will still have to do your zoning stuff. You're going to need to be looking for the right permitted use is often the phrase that I see online. Can you do assisted living? Can you do care homes? Can you do something like that inside of your home? Is there, sometimes it will come out and say specifically, yes, you can do this here. It's a residential assisted living. You can do it there. It's totally fine. Sometimes they'll give you a code like R7 or something like that. So you need to go back into their website and interpret what R7 means. Does that mean I can do that to this type of a business here or not? So you need to make sure it is available for permitted use for assisted living or care homes, whatever it is that you want to do. And then if it's not, you would need to apply for permitted use. Some states, they will not, some actually municipalities will not let it happen at all. Like it's off the table, can't do it. Other states, you have to go through an application process. There will be forms and things you got to fill out with the local municipality. Get that filled out, send it in, and then you can get the permitted use. Sometimes that will require you going out for like public comment. Could potentially, like it can be a lengthy process. Could be very simple, could be a simple form, could be a lengthy process. You got to go get testimonials, you got to go get letters of consent from neighbors, you got to go present this in front of the city council. Like it varies on the spectrum of how easy it is to confirm your zoning and get zoning in place. But you want to make sure you understand that before you get started, because if you do not have this in place, even as an unlicensed facility, your business could be shut down. So you want to make sure you understand exactly what that's going to look like for you. Now let's talk about HOAs. HOAs is the other thing. Like if you're interested in learning more about HOAs, type in HOA down below. I have a video we've done in the past on HOAs, but I know they can be confusing, they can be hard to navigate, and can raise a lot of questions for people as they're trying to jump into this. And I know a lot of people, I'm one of them, don't enjoy HOAs. I think there's a place for them. I don't know that they are always managed the best. We'll keep it a little bit PC here, but HOAs, you may have to deal with them inside of your assisted living, inside of your care home where you're doing this. Now, They cannot shut you down. They can't stop you from doing this. But that does not mean that they cannot make this hard. The reason they can't stop you is underneath the Federal Fair Housing Act, the there the people that you are serving in with a care home or an assisted living facility are a protected class. So you can serve them. They cannot shut you down for that. So you have the law on your side, you have case law on your side, which is good. But that doesn't mean they're not going to make your life just horrible as you're trying to go through the process of doing this. I would suggest talking with the HOA up front. Make sure that you are getting approvals. If you do this without their consent, it could raise some issues, could potentially lead to some legal repercussions for you. I would also work with an attorney if you feel like you are going to struggle with the HOA. I think it's appropriate to have an initial conversation with the HOA, see how it goes. And if they are starting to push back and it's not looking like they're going to be able to work with you, at that point, I would probably engage an attorney because law will be on your side, but you've got to make sure you go through this in the appropriate way. Zoning can shut you down. HOAs cannot, but they can make your life difficult. So you want to just be aware of that. HOAs are one of my facilities is in an HOA, so I know it can be done. I've talked to a lot of people that have done this inside of HOAs, so it's possible. It's just, do you want to deal with the hassle of it or not? That's something you have to figure out. I'll also say with HOAs, if you are doing this, you start a business or you're buying an existing business, you want to make sure that the HOA is aware that that's happening, that it will transfer to you, or if you're selling your business, that you are communicating that with the HOA and that there's a new owner and that it will transfer and they won't have any issues with it. So you want to make sure that you are communicating with the HOA to make sure that there are no issues there. Now, the question here, this is probably the big one. Should you do an unlicensed care home? So I've done videos on this. One of my most popular video on the channel is, can you do a 2 or 3 bedroom care home? And the answer to that is yes, you absolutely can. Can it be profitable? Yes, it can be. So should you do it? That's really up to you. Typically, an unlicensed care home, depending on the state that you're in, is going to have up to 4 to 6 residents. They cap it at that. You can find that information out for your specific state. Inside of my programs, I can help you out with that. I'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But that's where it's going to be capped at. So when it comes to that, you're still going to have high expenses. You still have to staff the facility. Even if you're the person that's living there and doing a lot of the care, you're still going to have to hire other people and you still want to pay yourself. So there's still very high expenses, even in a small facility like this. So that's something that you want to be aware of. Usually when you get more beds in the facility, your expenses don't grow at the same rate as you would see with the bed count, and so you're actually able to make more money. Expenses will increase, just not at the same rate that your income would increase. So you want to understand the expenses because they will be high. And what I really don't want you to do is get into this thing. I've got this 4 or 5 bedroom home. I think it's perfect. It's a Rambler ranch style home. It's perfect for assisted living, and it's perfect for a care home. Very well could be perfect for it. But if you're charging $3,000 a month for these services, that's only at 4 beds. When you're 100% occupied, is $12,000 per month in income, and your expenses are probably going to be higher than that. So you want to be aware of that. That you could be, coming up to a spot where you're just not making enough. And then if you aren't at full occupancy, you're only at half occupancy. That's only $6,000 a month coming in, and so that can be really hard for you. So you need to be aware of that. There are also low profit margins when it comes to these types of small businesses, small facilities, small unlicensed care homes, because expenses are high. And if you don't have 1 or 2 residents in your home, you are all of a sudden losing $3,000 per month per resident that's not there, or $5,000, whatever rate you're going to be charging. That amount goes down. And realistically, as much as I would love to say you'll always be 100% occupied, I think realistically you should be planning on it being 90% occupied, and it maybe even less than that. And you want to make sure that you are profitable, and churning a profit regardless of what you're doing. So you need to understand the expenses. You need to understand your break even point. You need to have confidence in what that margin's going to be to help you get there. And that all happens through the underwriting process. So you need to pay attention to what that's going to look like, because if you don't, like, you will start losing money and it, it, you lose it fast. And so you have to go about this the right way. You have to be wise with your money and make sure you plan this up ahead, so that you know what that's going to look like. Now, that could mean, 4 beds. It's not going to work, but my state allows me to get to 6 beds as an unlicensed facility. What can I do to get 6 beds in here? And that could be shared rooms. Maybe you convert a garage. There's ways to increase that. Or let's say that you were planning on doing $3,000, $3,500 per month for rates, and that's just not going to work. I did a video on this a couple months ago. What if you raised your rates to 5,000, 6,000? All of a sudden that shifts things significantly. So you can see kind of how that works. There are ways to get around this and to increase your profit without increasing your expenses, which can increase your profitability. So it is possible, but you need to understand these numbers, understand your market. Can it hold the rates that you want to do? Are you able to add more bedrooms? What's that going to look like? How much is that going to cost? Like, there's just a lot that goes into this as you're trying to figure this out. So the big lesson there is, don't rush into this because you watched a video and somebody told you, yeah, you can do this with 2 or 3 beds, 4 beds. Like, it's going to be profitable. You're going to generate $10,000 a month. Like, pump the brakes a little bit. Do some background, do some underwriting, make sure it's going to work for you. If it's not, then don't jump into it. Like, just don't do it. You're going to lose money. I have been in a situation where I had a small business where I had to sell my home to cover the debts. So I get it. I've been in that situation before, and it is horrible. Like, it's not fun at all. Having to go talk to my wife and say, you know what, like, we've got to sell our house, a house that we had built and our girls had grown up in, and having to just uproot our whole family. It's not fun. I don't want you to be in that situation because it's horrible. Make sure you spend the time upfront, underwrite the property. Don't look at it through rose-colored glasses. Be very methodical in what you're looking at to make sure this is going to be successful. Okay. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox a little bit there, but I don't want you to get in a bad situation. Now, if you need some help and some guidance with this as you're trying to figure out, unlicensed care homes, the process, I'd love for you to join our ALI Basics community. You can go do that. Go to assistedlivinginvesting.net/basics. Go hop in there. There's no application process for this specific group. Would love to have you in there. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to have it open because I'm shifting a little bit of the way that I do my coaching. I'm really excited for the changes. I think you will be too. But if you want to get in to ALI Basics for the next few months and get access to some of the things here on the screen, I would love to have you in there and help you make some progress as you're trying to launch your assisted living business. I love coaching people. It's one of my favorite things to do. And this is one of the best ways for you to work with me right now while it's still available. So go check out assistedlivinginvesting.net/basics and go hop in there. So with that, we're going to get over to our questions. For those of you that are live here, go ahead and type those in, and I'll hit on some of those questions for you, and make sure you get the answers that you need. While you're doing that, while you're typing those things up, make sure you go and like the video, subscribe, ring the bell, do all of those things so that you can get access to to all the stuff that we're talking about here inside of the community. You get notified every time we put out new content, so I can help you out along your journey and get your questions answered. I love coaching people. Earlier today, I had somebody in the mastermind. We did our vision exercise coaching session, and I'm super excited for what she's doing. She's in the state of Virginia, and she's going to kill it. So I would love to have you in that program as well. You can go apply to that at alimastermind.com. So with that, let's see. I've got few people here. I'm going to give you just a couple more seconds to type in any questions that you've got, so I can get to those here before I close things out. But I also want to remind you to go and grab that free business plan checklist. That's the thing that you're going to need as you're trying to to build a solid business plan to help you make progress, whether it's funding or just to have a solid business that's going to help you progress and become profitable. It's a great way for you to be doing that. So make sure you go grab that assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. It's like over here. It's weird. It's like opposite of me on the camera, but go grab that free resource and use it to help you make some progress as you're trying to launch your assisted living business. All right, with that, I'm going to close out. So thank you for watching. Thanks for being here live with me. I appreciate it. It's always fun to see people here in the videos with me and be available to you to answer your questions. Make sure you go grab that business plan checklist. Go join ALI Basics, assistedlivinginvesting.net/basics. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you don't know how to get started? At Assisted Living Investing, I'm here to help beginners like you launch their assisted living business in the next 12 months. I love helping and coaching people. It is my favorite thing to do. I love it. I would love to help and coach you as you are going on your journey. And remember, it doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Just keep going step by step by step. And I promise you, if you do and you're consistent and persistent, you're going to be successful. Thanks for watching and have a great day.